Hello guys, my name is Amit Sani and I welcome you in this daily UPSC MCQ series mission 2020 we are taking here. 1st of July it is, and it's a new month with new energy. You should keep going on, and whatever happened, whatever gone, it's all gone. And now you should pledge and you should take this pledge, and you should say to yourself that every next minute, every next hour, I will remain active. I will not sleep. I will not now waste my time, and I will use that particular hour, that particular minute. This is the best thing any human can do, and any successful person would follow this strategy only, and rest, it will manage itself. I'm telling you. So you just manage your time, you just maintain this pledge that every next hour you will use efficiently. So 6 to 5 rupees per month, a very affordable course by StudyIQ. Description is given below the video, and you can call on these numbers and you can ask for these courses, and the website address is this. And all important queries, all your confusions, these will be answered here. And PDF you will get here on this Facebook group where I upload that. Telegram's link you will also find there, and you can follow me on Instagram also, and the Telegram channel's link I would provide there, and this is also given here. So here the PDFs are given. Now question from the geography. Denali, Kilimanjaro, Vincent Massif, Mount Kosciuszko. You must remember all these are highest peaks in their respective continents. Denali, the Mount McKinley is there. Denali National Park is there, and it is there in Alaska. You see, there was a particular agreement between Russia and America in 1867. Then America bought Alaska from Russian Federation. So it was 1867, and Alaska is there northwest to Canada. So near the Bering Strait and near Russia, this is located there, but it's a part of USA. So there this Denali National Park is located, and it is the highest peak in North America. So it is not Antarctica, this is wrong. Second, Kilimanjaro, located on equator. It is the equator, so the heat must be very much there, and issue is that instead of that much heat, this is snow covered. Why? Because of the height, 5892 meters high, means almost 6 kilometers higher than the sea level, and that's why a very low temperature is there, and that is maintained because of this height. So height matters a lot. This is the biggest evidence there. And Kilimanjaro is the highest peak in African continent. It is there in Kenya near Nairobi and near the Victoria Lake. Next, Vincent Massif, 4892 meter. This is highest point, highest peak on Antarctica. That's important. Antarctica is a continent. It is not like a Arctic Ocean. It is continent. And Mount Kosciuszko. You see, if they ask you the Australia's highest peak, then Mount Kosciuszko would be there. It is located in southeast part. But the question is asking about Australia and Oceania. So Oceania covers a lot of areas, like I would show you in the map. You see, this is Australia and the New Guinea, Papua New Guinea. This part is Indonesia's. This is a different one. And Micronesia, Polynesia. These all important island countries, and New Zealand and all. These all are the part of Oceania. So Oceania is a region mainly. It's not a continent. Australia is a continent. But you see, the context is that the 2002 batch IPS Aparna Kumar, she has reached up to all 7 summits, and this is the important feat, an adventurous task that many have completed till now. But from IPS, and as a woman, she is the first one. So that was the case, and that's why all these 7 summits are given here, and the question was from there. So it was not based on continents, it was actually based on these 7 summits, importantly. So Mount Everest, highest in Asia, as we all know, 8850 you may say. Vincent Massif, highest on Antarctica. Denali or Mount McKinley, 6194 meter, North America's highest point. Aconcagua, South America's highest point. And Mount Elbrus, you see where this Elbrus is. Here it is Elbrus. You can see Russia. The Caucasus range is there, and Mount Elbrus is here. So that's the case. And it is a western part of Russia. This is Russia, European Russia. Here is Ural range, and east to it there is Asian Russia. This is European Russia. So in European Russia, the Mount Elbrus is present there. So that's the case. And Denali National Park is here. Aconcagua in the Andes range, and here it is this Kilimanjaro, Mount Kilimanjaro is located. And that Kasnes pyramid, this is having a different name in Indonesia also, like Penang Jaya is the name there, and it is located here in this New Guinea region, and it is Indonesia's part, but it comes under Oceania. So the question was asking about Oceania, so this would be the highest peak, not the Mount Kosciuszko, which is present here in Australia. So that's the case, and the answer would be 2 and 3 only, and these two are wrong here. And please go through the map, look at all these things. I have given you some outline there. Next question, we will move to India is the highest producer of aluminium in the world. See, India is not the highest producer. China is the highest producer. Out of 60,000 metric tons, China produces more than 32,000 metric tons of the aluminium. Bauxite is the ore of aluminium, and mainly in the state of Odisha, India mines aluminium. And from bauxite, if we want to get aluminium, then the biggest investment would be of electricity, because electricity is needed in that process. So half of the cost is of electricity. So that's why these hydro plants near the dams and all, they are always near to these bauxite mining and these purification plants. So NALCO is an important central PSU, or we may call it CPSE, and it's not a Maharatna PSU, it's a Navaratna PSU, the middle category, and below that there is Mini Ratna category. So it is a Navaratna category, and headquarter is in Bhubaneswar, Odisha, because it is the main state where the bauxite is mined there. So NALCO is important, and recently it is selected for the presidential award for its CSR activities. It has taken many steps there, and it has been very much sincere in its working there. It has adopted many poor girls there, and it is bearing the cost and every important expense which is there regarding their school life. So that is taken here. So some schemes it has launched, for that it is chosen there. So both are wrong options. D none is the answer. You can see 2015 NALCO started a scheme called Ali Jia. Scheme was on the line of Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme, which is there in the center. And adopt and promote, it is not adapt, it is adopt and promote the poor and talented girls for education. So that is the case, and 416 girls from 66 villages and 45 different schools they are getting education in, and 8 to 10th class girls these are adopted by NALCO under its CSR activities. CSR activities are the mandatory activities which they have to give money to, and out of their profit a certain percentage is there that is mandatorily given for the corporate social responsibility issues. Under the Companies Act of 2013, this is clearly mentioned that it is the mandatory condition, and they sometimes give this money to NGOs and all, and they execute this particular issue. Next, Navratna CPSE, registered office at Bhubaneswar, Odisha. Central government has 52% equity only 52%. So it's an honor, but not all the stakes are there, and it is one of the largest integrated primary producer of aluminium in Asia, but not the largest, one of the largest. And in India, all these rail and port operations, power generation, aluminium smelting, alumina refining, bauxite mining, everything is there under it. So value chain it is also holding here. And you see the power generation issue, as I told you, power is very much important for bauxite mining and alumina refining. Smelting, casting, all these operations are there, and the company is the lowest cost producer of metallurgical grade alumina in the world. Okay, and lowest cost producer of bauxite in the world. So alumina, bauxite, these are important ores of aluminium, and this PSU is third highest net export earning CPSE as per the Public Enterprises Survey report. So that's important. So these details are important, means it is performing well, being a state PSU, and where many of these PSUs in this country they are running into losses, it is going towards a growth, and it has made a plan till 2032. And importantly, it is maintaining the CSR issues efficiently also, and for that it is chosen for the presidential award. And it is the list where the biggest primary aluminium producers are there. China 32,600 metric tons. India just 3,610. So it is just surpassing Russia in these numbers, and China 10 times bigger numbers are there. Okay, and everything is given here in the detail on the in the PDF. You should go through it and you can learn everything. Nalko ki Ladli. This is the Hindi name of that particular scheme, and which is on the lines of central government's Beti Bachao Beti Padhao mission, and these all are important CSR missions. Next, United Nations Convention Against Torture. Recently, we abstained from the voting, and this was by General Assembly. This proposal was taken there to end the trade of tools or important instruments used in the torturing and the capital punishment. You see, capital punishment, the hanging of the person, okay, as a punishment, that is allowed in India, and there are particular processes for that, and we all know about that, and it is a part of our law. So although capital punishment is not banned in India, but India is against torture, and there are IPC provisions regarding that. Fundamental articles are also there against torturing and all. So in 1984, the United Nations Convention Against Torture was there, and India has signed it in 1997. That's important, but India has not ratified it. Signing and ratifying, two different things. India has signed it but not ratified it till now. So till the time we do not ratify it, conditions are not binding on us. So India has refused to sign this treaty. This is wrong. India has signed it but refused to ratify it. First and second statements are correct. These are regarding this convention, and their Article 1 and 5. They are putting some directions there. A would be the answer here. India has abstained from voting on a United Nations General Assembly UNG's resolution aimed at examining options to end trade in goods which are useful for capital punishment and torture. So India's argument is that it is unacceptable to place death penalty on par with the torture. So these two things are not equal in India. Death penalty is on a lighter side, because torturing has many angles and many intensities, and torturing is not allowed, and we do not appreciate torturing in any way of a punishment. But capital punishment is a truth in India, and the debate is going on whether we should ban it or not, but the circumstances do not allow us to talk about torturing anywhere which is there. But you see, there are cases, inhumane cases in India, where mainly in jails torturing is a reality, and sometimes the third degree and all these things are given. There are multiple ways of torture. So against torture, we need specific law. This issue came before Supreme Court also, where they said that there must be a proper legislation regarding torturing, against the torturing issue actually, and that's the case. And India says capital punishment is there, and there are statutory provisions regarding that. But against torture, we have provisions in IPC. Next, India signed in 1997 and yet to ratify. And Article 1 and Article 5 of this UNCERT. From April 17 to 28 February 18, for 1 year, 1674 custodial deaths happened, and there were many instances of custodial torture. Those were seen by National Human Rights Committee. Next, Pitt's India Act 1784. We all know this is a history question, and as I told you, the way must be there. Means you must remember things in a sequence, and we should start from the footing of Britishers on the political lines in India, and it started with the Plassey War, which they won, and in 1757 they won the Battle of Plassey. So just 100 years before the 1857 Indian freedom struggle, but that did not give them much advantage there. 7 years later, 1764, the Battle of Buxar was there, and in this Battle of Buxar they won here, and they actually won the Diwani rights from Shah Alam II. Shah Alam II was the king of Delhi, but he was nowhere dominant in the position, and Britishers subjugated him and the combined forces there, and they won the Diwani rights from him of Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. So that was very much crucial. So this whole region, eastern part, was under their authority, and till that time only the East India Company was doing all these things. British government did nothing practically there. They won all the wars, and they deployed their forces. All these officers, some were killed and some were winning there and won their territories, anyhow settling with the local kings and all. These all things were done by the company. But till that time, what happened actually, some things were very much problematic for the company as its existence mattered, because the English Nawabs, who were English Nawabs? English Nawabs were the officers of the East India Company who were taking a lot of bribes. They were involved in the private trade there, and they were earning a lot of money, and that was a illegitimate money because that was not allowed by the East India Company. But anyhow, they became so rich that they were called English Nawabs. So this system and this corruption in the East India Company, that brought to this company at a level where they were totally impoverished and they had to ask for a loan to the British government. So they took a loan there, and this was the opportunity that British government seized, and they observed the condition and they found that it's a very nice opportunity, and whatever they have done in India, they have now established the political existence of the company there, and the territories they have won there, and territories are under East India Company. But East India Company is very weak economically right now, so they put some conditions there, and systematically they seized this opportunity and they brought Regulating Act of 1773. Regulating Act of 1773, and that was the first time when Britishers started regulating companies' affairs. And it was the first development in India's constitutional history also. So the first chapter of Lakshmikant book, it starts from the Regulating Act, but there is a history before that. You see, revenue was a huge problem, and many ways, many different formulas they failed regarding revenue. So it was a huge problem. So Regulating Act came in 1773, and Warren Hastings was the first governor of Bengal, and he was designated as Governor General of Bengal. But some problems were there before that, like after the Battle of Buxar. Some problems of revenues were there, and some management problems were also there, like these Fauzdari, Diwani matters were there, and many issues were there. But in the Regulating Act, there was a provision of Supreme Court, and Supreme Court was established in Calcutta. But the issue was not settled, and their jurisdictions, they clashed. So Governor General and the 4-member council which was given to the Governor General of Bengal, so Governor General in council, that clashed with Supreme Court many a times. So in 1781 they had to bring an amending act, and this amending act resolved this issue somehow, and they curtailed the power of Supreme Court and the jurisdiction, geographical jurisdiction of Supreme Court, and it gave much power to the Governor General of Bengal. That was the case, but still some issues were there. So this Pitt's India Act of 1784 that came, and it was also called East India Companies Act. William Pitt was the Prime Minister there in Britain, and that's why it is called Pitt's India Act, and it was passed in British Parliament to rectify the defects of the Regulating Act of 1773. This is perfectly correct. So first statement is correct. Second, it actually brought the dual control system. So this is wrong. What they did, Britishers established a way to control the company's affairs. They brought a board of control. Board of control, many commissioners were there, and it was presided by the Secretary of State. And you see, through this board of control, they separated all these military and political functions of the company. Okay, and those were brought under the board of control. And it would be a board of control. Commander-in-chief would be a nominee of king there, and they would control the military political affairs. Commercial affairs were left with the ever existing court of directors, and that was there with the company already. So court of directors, their powers were limited now. They were given the commercial affairs, and board of control was the bigger body. And this COD, Court of Directors, they have to submit all the documents which government required any time. So after taking the loan, this company was under a lot of stress, and that was the case. And you see, in 1784, Hastings resigned on the charges of corruption and all, and he was very much sad with those things, very much miffed with all these allegations and all, and a huge trial went there in England, and he was impeached there. But in 1795 he was released of these charges. but it was a very embarrassing situation for Warren Hastings. So these all things were going on, and the Spits India Act, when it came and it brought all these things, so two important things happened. First time the possessions were called as British Indian territory, and all these powers were given to Board of Control, and this way British government became so important and they took all the control there. So that was the case. And in the later years they brought these charter acts, 4 charter acts they brought in 1793, and after that they extended the power of company for the trade for next 20 years. And then in 1813 many issues started, missionaries started coming, and they allocated money for the education and all, and for next 20 years they continued a company there, but they gave many warnings, and in 1833 they curtailed many of its powers, and in 1853, that was the last charter act, 1753, they ended all the functions of the company. So all the exclusive rights were taken, and in 1858, after the important Sepoy mutiny, company was gone from India. So this is all happened, and in 1784 it all started in this way. So that was the case, and details you can read there in the PDF. Everything is given there. Okay, so history is very much unique, very interesting, but in separate cases you must remember the history which is available there regarding the issue. All the history you must remember there. Next question, Aruna Sundarajan Committee. It has been constituted for what? Aruna Sundarajan Committee appeared in actually this name Aruna Sundarajan, that came in December 18 also. She was and she is there as Telecom Secretary, and for this telecom sector revival many issues are going on. Now after the elections even the minister, he accepts that the sector is going through a lot of stress, and there are issues. You see BSNL, MTNL, they are just gone to the docks, and anyhow they are surviving, but the revival should be there because they cannot let them go like this, and these are too big to fail. That is also the case. Many people are employed in these organizations, and you see, apart from Jio, all are struggling in this telecom sector. We all know about that. So Aruna Sundarajan Committee is gonna see into all these issues of spectrum, the levies which are charged, ease of doing business, and anyhow we revival all these important institutions like these PSUs like the BSNL and MTNL and all these, and the purpose and need all are given here. Next question, you have to recognize a personality. He established a radical democratic party, and it was a political party in India which existed at the time of the Second World War. So throughout the phase of Second World War from 39 to 44, and it remained till 48. He was a founder of Mexican Communist Party and the Communist Party of India. The biggest clue here. And the next clue is Reason, Romanticism and Revolution. This was the last major work by Mr. Enrol. He suggested the Constituent Assembly concept there in 1934, and he was a great personality and a national revolutionary and international revolutionary also. Very few leaders were there during the freedom struggle phase who were internationally acclaimed, and he was among some of them. Enrol, he went to America, he went to Mexico, he went to Germany, he went to Japan, many things he followed there, and he established the first communist party outside Russia in Mexico in 1920s, and in India in 1925 he founded a Communist Party of India. So he was the founder there, and he was invited to the Communist International in 1920. That was the second one, and he was hailed by Lenin, he was hailed by Stalin, and he was given support by Germans, he was given support in Japan also. So many things are attached with Enrol. So any of these things they may ask you these years. So you see one of the question you will find there that is going to ask about the personality, and all these excerpts, all these quotations, all these details which are attached to the personality they will be giving, and they will ask you who is that person. So they asked a question regarding Lala Lajpat Rai, they asked a question regarding Keshav Chandra Sen, they asked a question regarding D.K. Karvi. So that's important. So the details are given here in the PDF. Go through the PDF, and you must remember some important things with some important leader. Like he wrote this Reason, Romanticism and Revolution, and in the later years he became a strong proponent of radical humanism. Radical means powerful ideas, and humanism. So he was trying a new and unique concept there, radical humanism, away from capitalism, away from communism, and radical humanism he followed in the later years. In 1954, he died, and this Reason, Romanticism and Revolution, that got published in 2 volumes. Second volume came after his death, and he was the founder of Mexican Communist Party and Communist Party of India. Okay, and these are important details. Not all of those I have given you, but please go to the Wikipedia page and read about Enrol. Very important personality. He was hailed by Nehru again and again, and he was a very brilliant person and a multifarious personality he was. Okay, and he founded this radical democratic party also, and many other issues were also there. So please go through all the details. Thanks a lot. Keep watching, and we will meet again tomorrow with many more questions. Thanks a lot.